YouTube. So I'm redoing this video tonight because I wasn't real happy with the audio in the last one, and the lighting was a bit crap too, filmed in the dark. So I've just hung this outside on in my workshop, and we'll talk about it tonight. I'll probably cover the topics of both videos tonight, just because it's easier to do it that way. So here it is, the replica of the vest that I've been working on. I've been working on this for a couple of years now. It's one of those props that I've wanted, like the knife, ever since I first saw it. Thought it was very cool. Of course, they're not commercially available. I don't even believe, I think it was only like 2 vests were made for the movie. One had a collar and one did not. You see both in the movie when he steals all the gear from the surplus shop. There's actually 2 vests hanging up. He takes one, and then the other one's still hanging on the rack. So, as I understand it, they had already chosen the knives and stuff for his outfit. And when he decided, Arnold says, he wanted to use the life support system 1, they had to rejig his rig, and they turned this bandolier 90 degrees that didn't allow for some space to mount the knife. So, but what's interesting about this, it's a very, probably not the most practical thing, but it's very, very iconic. And one of those replica props that I just wanted to own. So when you can't buy it, you make it. So this vest is made from pet mesh, double layer. See if I can zoom in on it. This stuff is strong. It's fiberglass in a polyurethane coating, I believe. I think it's got some flame retardation, I'm not sure. I've never actually flame tested it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't burn, and it certainly doesn't rip. And if it does rip, it kind of just stops. It's double layered, and then it's all been sewn up with an industrial sewing machine. So as you can see, stitching is pretty heavy duty. Now, I'm no expert. I'm not a pattern maker or anything like that. I'm just a bro that can sew. I bought myself an industrial sewing machine to do projects like this jacket, simply because there's no way that I could find an upholstery shop or similar that actually wanted to, basically would give a shit enough to, like, there's a certain order all this stuff goes on. And I just know that if I'd taken it to some place, they would have sewn it straight, just laid them up and then just sewn it straight in. They're not interested in the time it takes to put this, this piece down first, this over the top, then the cover strap over it. They're just gonna do it all. And so it's and from the quotes that I was given anyway, it was just going to be cheaper in the long run to buy the machine myself, do it myself, and then along with other projects that I wanted to do. I mean, that machine is, it cost me best part of $2 grand, but I think, with some of the stuff that I've done with it, more than paid for itself now. So when you look at the hourly rate they charge you at an upholstery shop, so that's kind of the vest in a nutshell. Some of the hardware, because this, you got to remember, this was all done back in the 1980s, and so some of the hardware, well, it's all custom built. Look at these D-rings, for example. So these are only flat steel. They're supposed to be tubular steel, or like these. I've had some other ones made up. I've had these ones made. I've got a pair of them. Supposed to be that, right? But again, it was a case of I was working on it, and I just decided I had these parts laser cut, so the actual rings themselves come off like a World War II parachute harness. I think that's the whole purpose of what these are. Two rings here, you've got leg straps down here with the hardware. This is supposed to be a rig that, well, you can abseil in, and then it's also a parachute harness. So what happened was I tracked the actual rings down. The rings themselves weren't that expensive. They're like only a couple of dollars each, $3.50 or $4 each. But the guy that had the rings wanted to charge me well, at least 200 in shipping, and I just said no way. So what I ended up doing was I drew these up in a drawing program, created a machinable file, and then I had these laser cut, which is the same process that I've done for the blade on this knife. So, and the guard and all the other bits that I've done. So there it is, like as I said, there's always a way, and if you can't buy it, you make it. So the accessories on this jacket are mostly custom. This is probably the only found item out of everything I've had here. It is a very well made little pouch made of ballistic nylon. I could have bought a camouflage one, and I probably should have bought a camo one. At the time, I just didn't know why I didn't. So I ended up having to camo it myself. And then these main pouches, they're all like, it's all practical. It's one big pocket. So yeah, I made all this up myself, and then just decided to camo them up with paint. I do have, or have since bought, some camouflage material, but it's not really a canvas. So I'm still looking for a better version of that material. If I do happen to find something, I'll probably end up making new pouches. And as I said, like, I'm not, this jacket, it's wannabe screen accurate, but it's not. And I think it's one of those things, if I can make something better, then I will upgrade or replace. But for the time being, I mean, this is pretty cool, and it's pretty much a one of a kind. No one has one. So yeah, these hand grenades, I keep playing with these things. These are really cool. These are a fake grenade. I ended up having to buy 4 of them, so I ended up with a spare. But these are really, really cool. They're a 1-to-1 with a real sort of M67 grenade, sprung loaded. When you pull the pin, this lever flies off, and just like a real one. So what I've done in these ones is I've taken the springs out, and I've actually bent the pins on the back so they can't fall off. It's kind of funny, we had a discussion about you wouldn't tie real hand grenades to a vest like this, because of the fact that it would just, walking around, would actually make the pin fall out. And as I was tying these on originally, one of the pins actually fell out and the grenade dropped to the ground, and I was like, wow, that would be bad if that was real. So yeah, this is all done now, so nothing comes off the jacket. So I've just used cable ties, nice easy attachment. Shotgun shells, these are real, came from a range. They've all been fired. As you can see, the little dents inside the primers. Some crimped down really cool, and others did not. I've filled these with sand and resin to give them a bit of weight, but also to give me something solid to crimp down too. But yeah, they just didn't crimp down like that one, and that one is a bit shit. So I will be having another. I've got more shells. I will have a go at again, trying to get a better crimp. Lastly, we've got is the knife. So as you've seen from the other videos. I might have to put this down so I can get this thing out, because that sheath is a bit tight. Okay, so there's the knife with the logos all laser etched in. Not really seeing that logo there, but it's there. And then the sheath is it's not leather, it's actually a synthetic. It's actually the same stuff as this is. It's vegan leather. It's a microfiber, but what's interesting is it has a suede side and a top grain side, so it looks and feels like leather. I do believe this is the same material that's used in sports seats in cars. Even if they claim to be leather, they're not. It is the same stuff. And the cool thing about it, it's 1.2 millimeters thick, but you can layer it up. So this is pretty much, that's three layer, and this is 2 on the front and 2 on the pouch. In regards to this pouch, I may have made this front pouch a little bit too long. I think it's supposed to be, the base of it's supposed to stop about there, which would be about ½ an inch up from what I've done mine. At this stage I'm not too phased by it, but if it does annoy me, I'm going to rebuild another one. The scabbard itself is ABS plastic, all glued up with a solvent glue, and so it's and then you just glue the front on. I just ran stitching around it to give the illusion that it's all sewn through, but it certainly is not. It's attached via a Fastex clip through a loop. So to clarify, yeah, no, his knife was not attached via the D-ring or a D-ring of any description. The actual crane knives that was sold had a ring so that this piece would swivel on the belt. On the screen used sheath, it's simply a big loop, and there was 2 Alice clip fasteners on the back. But from the images of the screen used jacket, I didn't see a loop that they went through, so it's possible they just punched holes in the mesh. I've put several loops on mine for different versions of the. Actually, I think that one, this bottom loop was actually made for a version in case I was going to do the Alice clips. I even found them in a surplus store. Just never bothered with it. So where are we going from there? The last piece that you see in the movie, but no one has a real explanation for it, is there's these straps off the shoulders with these Fastex clips. They're actually designed to attach a backpack. So I've mimicked that. I didn't make a backpack for this out of the same material, but just used a cheap one. Put the other end, the female end, if you will, onto the straps of the backpack, and that will attach and allow it to be worn with this. Size adjusting, it's pretty much a one size fits most. It's all Velcro through here, and so that can be size tightened in or loosened out. And lastly is the straps. So these straps are done properly, one piece. There's no seams. The end of it is actually, it's double layer, and it starts somewhere midway between, I do believe it's midway under these on both sides, through the rings, over the shoulder, down the back, down, and through these leg attachments. So these attachments, mine are solid. The actual ones are actually pressed steel and they're hollow. You can actually see that on the latest version of Commando, which has been released. I think it's like the 30th anniversary of the movie, maybe 35th anniversary. It's a 4K scan, even though the disc itself is only 1080p, and you can actually see that these parts are hollow. I've just used like some big, I don't even know what that is, clip. These are actually a neat part. I like them, and I haven't found any more since, which is a shame. But they're about $10 each, and they're really good, chromed steel and really strong. So yeah, lastly, oh yeah, the zipper. Is it a YKK? No, it's not a YKK, it's something else. But anyway, it's a number 10 chunky. I didn't really know how to go about doing the zipper properly. Apparently, I did find a shot of the screen used vest. It looks like they've taken it up just behind these pieces so that there's no top. The vest pulls up so far, and that's as far as it goes. Because once the zipper parts stretch, that's it. It won't pull up any further. Zips are a pain in the ass to sew in. You are supposed to have a special zip foot, which I don't have. So, but yeah, it's worked, and it's fairly strong. So that kind of, this video is running way longer than it should have. I'm going to have to wrap it up there now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My replica of the vest worn from the movie Commando. Thanks for watching.